So Julia Roberts is starring in this, and her daughter in this movie is obsessed with Friends. Can't say I blame the daughter, but I can only imagine her daughter's reaction once she saw what looked like her mom interacting with Matthew Perry. She was like, "Mommy, what are you doing there with that man? Why are you making him put on pink panties?" Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. I miss you so freaking much. So we're talking about Leave the World Behind, which is the new Netflix exclusive feature starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, Kevin Bacon. It's a stacked cast. And Roberts and Hawke are a married couple taking their 2 children on a family vacation on Long Island. This is interrupted by 2 strangers, one played by Mahershala Ali and his daughter played by Myha'la. They come bearing news of a blackout. And as the threat grows, both families must decide how best to survive the potential crisis, all while grappling with their own place in this collapsing world. Now, this movie was directed by the creator of Mr. Robot, Sam Esmail. And let me tell you, just stylistically speaking, if you are a fan of Mr. Robot, you are probably going to love the technicals on Leave the World Behind. The camera work definitely showed signs of him trying to be flashy with a bunch of sideways canted angles and then tilting the camera upwards. But I mean, aside from those sickness-inducing shots, I think the movie looks nice for the most part. I think it definitely captures this post-apocalyptic world on Long Island really well. All your performers, of course, are great in this. Julia Roberts, I don't think I've ever seen her turn in one bad performance. Like, this is not my favorite Julia Roberts performance by any stretch, but you can tell that she is a master. Her husband, played by Ethan Hawke, is probably the most relatable character of the bunch. I saw a lot of myself in that guy, man, and I felt really bad for him. Just the anxiety that he has throughout the entire runtime, and the fact that he's always trying to avoid drama and be the peacekeeper. Like, I love that there's a character like this that I can grasp onto, and Ethan Hawke did so well. Once again, he's picking good, meaty character parts that will really explore every part of his range of his talent. Mahershala Ali is another one who I've respected for so freaking long, and he can be very domineering and brooding in this movie, but he can also be very charming and very welcoming. And when you combine all of those traits together, that can be pretty intimidating. There were parts of this movie where I was looking at Ali's character, and much like Julia Roberts' lead here, Amanda, I did not trust this man as far as I could throw him. And he shares great chemistry with both Hawke and Roberts, as well as Myha'la playing his daughter. Myha'la you might remember from Bodies, 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 which came out last year. She was really freaking great as well. I could certainly buy that she was Mahershala Ali's daughter. And I'm sorry to disappoint any hardcore fans of Kevin Bacon, but he does have a very small role in this flick. But it's definitely a very satisfying scene once you do see him. And perhaps the biggest praise that I can give Leave the World Behind is actually the whole concept and the premise. The whole first half of this movie, I was really getting into it. I love the fact that this is a post-apocalyptic world, there's blackouts going on, and these 4 leads are stuck together in an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. I love thrillers that all take place in one location that feel extremely claustrophobic. Like, think about Misery. Like, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think that's one of the greatest thrillers of all time, because what they were able to accomplish with so little resources in Misery, it still blows my mind to this very day. And it looks like this movie was going on that track. I was really appreciating the tension that was established in the script with these characters. But then the second half comes around, and this is where a lot of my issues start to come in. There were a couple of character choices that were made that really just came out of left field and didn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I understand that this movie was based off of a novel, and you can't exactly put all the tiny little details in here, but I don't really think the translation of book to movie really carried over, especially in the second half, because it really felt like these screenwriters jumped to a conclusion that it was like, oh, wait, these characters are involved together now and these 2 characters are off doing their own thing? Like, it just felt like there were certain story facets of Leave the World Behind that jumped from point A to point C, but you needed a point B in there, and it just didn't really add up to me. And let's talk about probably the most polarizing thing about this flick. It's the ending. Now, my parents actually watched this movie before I did, and they actually told me, no, Zach, check this out and tell me how much you hate the ending. Listen, I can certainly see why some people would defend this ending in terms of leaving things up in the air in terms of ambiguity. But if this is a movie that's centered around the end of the world like this one is, and the cybersecurity protecting us from the end of the world and us actually seeing the bombings going on, not to get too deep into spoilers or anything, but you would expect a lot more finality, right? Leave the World Behind does not give you that finality at all. As a matter of fact, there is really only one character's journey that feels full circle. And I'm sorry, when this is an ensemble cast of some very meaty characters, like, you need to make sure that you wrap up all those loose ends and you tie up all those knots. And this movie doesn't do that. Like, the credits started rolling and we were like, that was it? Like, I swear to God, my mom told me this earlier today, but she was like, if I had gone to a movie theater to see that, I would want my money back. And with how inconclusive this movie feels, I can't say I blame her. All in all, Leave the World Behind is very technically sound, albeit creatively clumsy. You do have some game performances from all of our leading actors, and you definitely feel a family dynamic, and you feel the tension throughout the first half, which I thought was fantastic. But then the movie just kind of falls off a cliff. This honestly feels to me like the lesser version of Knock at the Cabin, a movie I absolutely adored. Not only because this movie in scope feels like a Shyamalan picture, but because at least with Knock at the Cabin, you know what happens to our main characters. And every single character you meet at Knock at the Cabin gets a conclusive finality. Leave the World Behind does not do that. So that left me pretty disappointed, all things considered. I'm gonna give Leave the World Behind a C. On a more positive note, I'm not gonna spoil anything when I say this, but I just love how a Netflix movie is touting the importance of physical media. How fucking ironic. And people still wonder why I keep all this behind me. But guys, let me know what you thought of Leave the World Behind down in the comments section. What's your favorite Julia Roberts performance? Favorite Mahershala Ali performance? Favorite Ethan Hawke performance? There's a lot that we can discuss down in the comments and then some. This is an awesome community of film lovers and entertainment lovers alike over here, and y'all are invited to join the party. So do consider subscribing today and tap on that thumbs up on your way out. That would be a huge help. And stay tuned for more videos very soon. I am very much looking forward to seeing both the Iron Claw and Wonka this upcoming week. Happy birthday to me! Two of my most anticipated releases of 2023 come out my birthday week. Should be a lot of fun, guys. I can't wait to share all those thoughts with you and much, much more. Talk to you guys soon. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.